Welcome to episode 2 of Stump the Chump. This is the series where all of my subscribers send me positions that they think I won't be able to solve or find the best move in. I have 5 minutes to analyze the position and select the best move. If I don't get it, you've stumped the chump. Now, in the first episode, the rules were that if I found any move that was in the top 3 choices of Stockfish, then I would consider that a victory. We are going to be changing those rules for this episode and going further. I think a lot of people were spot on when they said, sometimes you have positions where like the top 5 or 6 moves are all pretty much the same. And then the other times you have positions where there's only one really good move. And so finding the top 3 didn't really make sense. So what we are going to do going forward is change the rules to be, I need to either find the best move or a move that is within 2 points. I think 2 points is a good number. Within 2 points of the best move. So for example, the position on the board right now, and by the way, comment below if you've actually seen this position before or not. If it's new to you, that's okay. But you can see Stockfish is saying knight f3, e4, d4, c4, g3. All of these moves are basically the same, okay? So if I were to suggest any of these moves, that's going to count as me getting the correct move because they're so similar, right? But if I go forward, e4, e5, d4, and black plays queen to g5, now if you check Stockfish, the only good move is bishop takes g5. If I suggest any other move, it's going to be a greater difference than 2, as far as like knight c3 is 10 points different, basically. That's going to be considered wrong. So in a position like this, where there's only one really good move, I basically have to get the right move. But in a position like this, where there's lots of good moves, even if my move is, way down the list, it could still count as a victory. Okay, so I hope that made sense. I think that's going to be a good change. Now, as far as the time, some people said they wanted to see less time. I think I'm going to leave it at 5 minutes because if somebody sends in a pretty tough position, 5 minutes is not a long time. Some of the ones that came in before, were easy enough that I was able to solve them in less than 5, but I don't think that's always going to be the case. So I think we're going to leave it at 5 minutes. If I solve it faster and don't need 5 minutes, then I won't use it, but I want to have that option. So we are going to keep that the same. If you would like to submit positions that you think will stump me, you can send them to my email. I'll put it in the description below. And we may at some point in the future do some kind of prizes to people who stump the chump. I haven't figured out what that's going to look like just yet, but I do have some ideas. So we'll see about that. But let's go ahead and get started with episode 2. Okay, the first position I'm going to look at is from CMEXA. This is black has just played rook to a8, and it's white's turn. And I'm going to start the timer, and here we go. Okay, so what's happening here? So we have 2 rooks, and black has a rook and a knight, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're ahead a little bit of material, and I like the fact that black's king is kind of trapped. Like, this is almost checkmate. So g4, en passant's not an option. The king would have to take. Do we have a good follow-up? h3? King can probably just go back. I don't really know what that accomplishes. So we could play h3 with the idea of playing g4, but black can pretty easily just go check and take our pawn. So I'm thinking of playing king b2 to prevent the rook from coming in. King b3 is no good because of the fork here. So king b2 is one move we could play. Maybe a rook b6 to go for this pawn is another move. What else could we do? I guess we could play rook b1, and then if the rook comes down, we have rook b2 to block the check. I mean, black could potentially get some threats here if I move this rook away by playing g4, f3. I have to be a little careful, but h4, does that do anything? Let's say I go with rook b6 and this rook comes down here, because that's the most annoying thing, right? Because I can't go here, that's checkmate. And if I go here or here, then the knight's going to fork my king and rook. Ooh, that's actually a really big threat. Okay, so we can't let that happen. If this move happens, we're just lost. So that means, yeah, it's got to be either here to block with this rook, or here to prevent the rook coming down in the first place. And again, this is no good because of the fork. So which of those looks better? I mean, I don't really feel like this rook is so great here. So I'm kind of leaning towards rook b1 because then we have the pressure here. We also have a way to deal with that. And I'm just trying to see if there's any other moves that make sense. I'm really thinking it's rook b1. I mean, rook b6 and then block with that rook. Again, I like the placement of this rook better than this one, so I think this is better because of that reason. We have 2 minutes left. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else. Let me just check one more time. We could go check here. It doesn't do a whole lot. The king's coming in. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Okay, so I think it's got to be here. If something like this, we could take this. If f3 takes. And I think we're going to be... actually, are we going to be okay in that? Let's say we go here and black plays g4. What do we play then? Because I'm afraid that if I take this pawn, black's going to play f3, takes, and then push here. And it's going to be difficult to stop that, especially if the rook comes down. So we could do that. No, it looks like we're going to have time. I think we're going to have time to stop that somehow. I mean, it's still pretty tricky. I have 1 minute left. I really want to say rook b1, but I'm not sure. I could be getting tricked here. I could be getting stumped. Tough position. Yeah, the only reason I'm thinking maybe it is this is just because it leaves my rook better position to stop that pawn. That's why maybe it is rook b6. Rook b6, I don't know. I guess black has to play check. We block, and then black maybe comes back up here. We take this, they take this. Would I rather have my rook over here or have my rook here? All right, I got to make a choice. I'm going to say rook to b1. Rook to b1 is the move that I'm going to go with. Okay, we're out of time. Let's see. Did we get stumped? Okay, wow. Rook to b1, and the top 4 moves were all basically the same. So, all right, I don't feel bad. I basically found the top 2 moves, rook b6 and rook b1. We also had rook g1. Very interesting move. I guess you're getting out of the fork that we talked about by moving that over there. So, okay, that makes sense. And then king to b2. We also talked about that. All right, cool. So rook b1. Interesting position. A little bit tricky just because I thought I was getting fooled, but it looks like I wasn't. Thank you, CMEXA, but you did not stump the chump. Let's see who else is next. Okay, next position is from Caleb, and it is black has just played knight a5. It's white to move, and let me go ahead and reset the timer and start it. Okay, so here we go. 367, 367. So it looks like a pretty even position. I do like that we're castled. Black's not castled. So maybe that's a move because the queen can't take. We can pin it. The pawn could take, but it does create some weaknesses here. Maybe knight e5. So that's definitely an idea. I do want to come over here for a moment and focus on this knight. Looks a little bit awkward, but I don't really have a way to take advantage of it because queen a5, you know, which would be a normal looking move, I can't play. So, okay. And that's defended. c4 doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense. e6. Let's go back to e6. So pawn has to take, right? We already talked about it. If the queen takes, we have the pin. So if the pawn takes, we can bring the knight in. Ah, okay. So here's an idea. We bring the knight in, attack the queen, threaten check here. And if the queen tries to prevent, well, I don't know how the queen can prevent that, but let's say the queen even moves some on it like this. Not only do we have that as an option, we also have check here, which could be pretty good. So e6. looks like a really nice move. If black doesn't take and moves the queen, well then we're just taking and the knight's coming in anyway. All right, so takes, knight e5. Where can the queen move to? Can't go on any of those squares. Can't go there. I mean, it pretty much has to go to like d6 or e7 or c8, most likely. And then queen h5 check looks very strong, I believe. g6, we can take it. Only move that would concern me is if it went to e7, then it could go to f7 and pin the knight. But on e7, then we also have queen a4 check, which is forking the king and the knight. Now the knight can go back to c6, but then we can take it. And if takes, we've got a fork. Yeah, that looks really strong. It looks really strong, regardless of which way we go. If we go here or here, it's got to be e6. I don't even see any other moves that make sense. I would say e6. So I'm going to stop the clock here. I don't think we need to use all of it. And let's see if Stockfish agrees. And here we go. Stockfish says e6. And that's really the only move that was that good. Queen d3 was next. But yeah, e6 is just really good. And it doesn't even show black accepting it. That's how strong it was. It's showing black just moves there and then lets us capture here. But still really strong. Messes up black's king. We can follow up probably with, let's see, takes. Probably 95. Yeah, 95 check. And this is super. This nice. It's like worth a queen right now. King g8. Queen h5, yeah, really good for white. It's a cool position. Thank you, Caleb, but you did not stump the chump. Let's see who's next. All right, next position is from Tim. White has just played knight d5. It's black to play. Let me reset the timer. Start it. And here we go. Okay, so white just plays knight to d5. So what's happening? It looks pretty even. 3-6, 3-6-7. So we're up a pawn. But white has a lot of pressure. This knight, the bishop, the queen are all things that I want to consider. Okay, so, I mean, first of all, what if I just take this? Like, what's going to happen? Let's just say I just take it. I guess the bishop comes in. I don't want to move my king, or this is pretty nasty. So, I would probably take it, but then the queen comes in and I have the exact same problem. Okay, so taking it doesn't seem like it's any good. Which means, can we chase maybe this knight away? What if we play like h6? There's captures here, we can just take it. And that looks pretty good. Because if the bishop tries to check, we could just slide over. And then we have the queen to help take that. So, okay. So h6, what if the knight takes here? We take. Take, check again. We could take it, the queen could come in, and then we could move our king up. Let's see, h6, takes. What if the bishop comes in right away? No, we can still play king g7, though. We can still play king g7. Okay. So I'm liking h6. What about something like c6, though? Because then we just eliminate the possibility of the piece going there. So c6, takes. We will have to worry about this maybe after something like bishop a3, but looks like we could probably just bring the rook over. So I'm definitely considering c6 and h6. They're both kind of forcing because they force the knight to make a decision. This one, the knight could even go there with the idea of coming here, which is pretty annoying, actually. So I kind of like h6 because I think it forces this to trade, and then we can simplify and get out of this mess. Okay, so h6, and if it goes back here, then I think we're fine. We can even just trade and move our king or whatever. Okay, so h6 captures, queen takes. I'm feeling good. Check. And we just move our king if we want. Okay, so h6 is what I'm thinking. Am I missing any tactics? Like takes, check. There's no way to like take advantage of this, right? Because we're in check. We have to get out of check, and then we're just in a jam, right? I mean, I guess we could take, and take. But is that any better than just playing h6? I'm just now seeing that. Takes here. We could take it. And then we take the bishop. Rook probably moves to somewhere here or here. Queen is sitting there. Our king's in the corner. We have 2 bishops for a rook. Not bad. A minute left. Or just the simple h6. King there. What if takes and then check? Takes. Then we have rook e8. This is tough. I don't know if it's h6 or if... Actually, I think you can take this, and it's not as bad as I initially thought. h6, takes, the knight moves. Maybe it is. Maybe it is you just take this. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some more stuff, and so I'm 19 seconds. I got to make a decision. I'm gonna say it's knight f. Knight f takes d5. I'm gonna go for it, and hopefully I didn't make a mistake there, or we could be getting stumped. But let's see. Let's go with knight f takes d5. All right, I'll stop the timer with 1 second, and let's turn on the computer. And Stockfish says knight e takes d5 is the best move. h6, okay, was the second move, and then knight f takes d5 was the third move. So let's make sure I didn't lose. Knight f takes d5 is minus 0.7. Top move is minus 1.5. So we are within 2 points, and so I did not get stumped. So that's an okay move. It likes this way a little bit better for some reason. And then also h6 was a good idea. So I think I was on the right track with that. Let's check this one to make sure. Okay, it's saying that I could just take it right away. Okay, and then when I take, I guess, just capturing with the pawn. Okay. And then we play h6 and the game goes on. Okay. So yeah, there wasn't actually any tactics that white had, and so we could take. And just to show you guys the line that I was expecting here was check. And after we capture, initially I thought we were in trouble here because after king h8 I was thinking knight f7 was really good for white because of this. But it turns out that we just take it, and even though we lose our rook, we end up getting the bishop as well. And so we have 2 bishops for a rook, which is very good. 2 bishops are going to be much stronger than the rook, and so after this rook moves somewhere, you know, we just play normal chess, develop our bishops, and our bishops are going to, like I said, be much better than the rook. So that was why that was okay. Nice position. Thank you, Tim, for submitting it, but you did not stump the chump. All right, next position is from Sebastian. We're playing as black. Let me go ahead and reset the timer, start the timer, and here we go. Okay, wow. Ooh, looks pretty scary. Let's see. Queen, 2 rooks, 2 pieces. Queen, 2 rooks, 2 pieces. Okay, so we're even. White just played this move. Interesting. So opening up the rook. And I don't know what else that's doing. Okay. I guess it's stopping this. Okay, that's makes sense, because that would be pretty nasty. Okay. So I don't see like an immediate threat from white, because everything's kind of covered. Maybe knight d4, maybe bringing this rook over. I mean, queen c6 is a move. What else could be an idea? Like, is knight f3 check an idea? Probably not, because we can't do that. Or what if we go there? The idea that we're gonna maybe take here. Maybe that's the idea. We play queen c6 so we can take the bishop and then have checkmate. So queen c6 is threatening to just take the bishop. If the bishop moves away, then we can slide this rook over, and that's also really good. Okay, so queen c6, I like that. Now there is knight d4. What happens on knight d4? We can't take because this is check. We lose our queen with check. So knight d4 is a bit of a problem. We can play rook d8 to control the d file. We have 3 minutes. What else can we play? Like, do we accomplish anything by sacking that? And then play queen c6? Then the queen can just come back. Or even f3 would be probably okay. Okay. Tough position. I'm not actually sure. I mean, maybe it's just a simple rook d8, because what is white gonna do? What is white gonna do against rook d8? Queen c6, I don't see a good response to knight d4. That's the issue. Rook d8 prevents knight d4. f4, no, that's not an option, it's pinned. Okay, so maybe it's just this. Maybe it's just that. What if white takes it? Sorry. What if white takes it? If we take with the rook, then we're losing this pawn. Can we do this? If the queen takes, then we can take this bishop. If the king takes, check. Oh, that's kind of an interesting idea. Because the king can't go back, we have knight f3. Which means f3. Then what do we do? How do we follow up? Oh, I don't know, guys. Takes, king takes, check, f3. We can't take that, the bishop defends it. I don't know, actually, how to follow up. So maybe it's not good. At least I'm not seeing anything. Rook here is the only move that I think I would actually play in this position. It really looks like there's some sort of a tactic that I'm probably just missing. What if I play queen c6, knight d4, and I just take this g2 pawn? Queen takes, I take. King takes, and I take the rook. Am I just up a pawn at that point? Knight can, no, the knight can't go there. Maybe that's the move, guys. Maybe it's just queen c6. I don't have time. Okay. Let's say queen c6. I'm going to say queen c6 and hope I'm right. Stop the timer with 1 second, 2 seconds. All right, queen c6. Let's click analysis and see what the engine says. Okay, and Stockfish says bishop to e4? What? Bishop to... Am I crazy? Bishop to e4? How in the world is that a good move? Bishop just takes it? Yeah, we can bring our rook over, but... Oh, the queen's trapped. The queen's trapped. That was sneaky. That was very sneaky. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about trapping the queen at all, to be honest with you. Huh. Bishop to e4. What a move. It's so unintuitive because it's just like it looks like a blunder, right? Looks like a complete blunder. And then we had rook a d8 and queen c6. So I don't feel terrible. I was kind of on the right track, except I just missed that. Totally missed it. Sebastian, congratulations. You were the first person in the history of Chess Vibes to ever stump the chump. Well done. Very tricky position. did not even consider that, obviously. So very nice. Really interesting. And if you know, white doesn't take it, you're just going to take the bishop. So they basically have to, and then the queen is trapped. How about that? How about that? All right, well, since Sebastian successfully stumped the chump, I guess this is a good place to end episode 2. If you guys want to participate in the next episode, you can send it to my email. I'll throw it in the description below. So yeah, get those tricky positions. And even though I had one of the top 3 moves, it wasn't within 2 points. If I'll go back to this position here, even though queen c6 was the next, you know, one of the next best moves, it's not within 2 points of the best move. And so I don't win this one. So that's what happened. But thanks everyone for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, take care.